The question tonight, the question is very simple. Is vile and hateful and disgusting anti-Israel speech, is it protected by the First Amendment? Is it protected? Vile, horrible, anti-Semitic, say it. Anti-Jewish, anti-Israel, anti-human, is directed, loathsome, vile, putrid, putrescent, fetid, feculent, rancid, horrid speech. Is it protected by the First Amendment? Of course it is. Yes. The First Amendment is the bedrock. It is here to protect the worst, the best, everything. Nobody uses the First Amendment to protect you from the Johnny Man singers. It's to protect horrible, rancid speech. Do you understand what I am saying? Do you understand? Is it vile? Yes. And you don't hear it as much, but I'm sure it's there. Anti-Palestinian vile hatred speech is there. Again, I'm not hearing this, but if it were, it would be protected as well. But the First Amendment protects you from the government telling you can't think something, you can't say something. That's what it protects. It doesn't mean that we as a society can't get upset or angry, or we can't ourselves boycott people, shun people, remove, whatever. No. This is something which is the most critical. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you agree with me? It is important that we let the world know that we stand for something. We stand for something, and it is tough to stand behind some forms of speech. Hate speech, homophobic speech, transphobic, anti-white, anti-black, anti-American. Do you understand? Do you understand that this is what we're all about? To protect speech. To protect this thing, the First Amendment, up to and including journalism, up to and including Julian Assange, who is a journalist. He must be immediately released, but nobody cares about him. Do you hear what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen? I want to devote some time to this special thing called not freedom of speech via the First Amendment, because a lot of times it's not the government saying this. The government is not saying you can or can't do it, but proxies. Social media proxies are to the First Amendment what Hamas is to Iran. It's a proxy. It acts on behalf of. It's a militia. This is what we're talking about. So sit back, my friends. Enjoy the ride tonight. Let us hear what you think. Let us please join our statement, join our scrum, join our world. Let me ask you, please, I beg you to subscribe to this channel. We need every subscription there is. We need you to like it. When you like a video, it puts it into a variety of algorithms with initialisms that I don't want to get into, but it means the most to us, and we thank you. We also thank you for your support and your donations and your absolute incredible, not tutelage, but your love. We appreciate this. Now, I read today that they're planning terrible weather coming, El Nino and that sort of things. Please, I have been saying this forever. It is important for you to make sure that when it comes to emergency food, you are taken care of and you have planned accordingly. And that's why this message is for you. And I want you to listen carefully to it. All right, fellow patriot, let's talk about My Patriot Supply, the country's largest preparedness company. And it is more than equipped to stock your shelves in times of emergency. You can ditch the canned vegetables in the box, pasta and the banana chips and the jerky. Their best-selling 3-month food kit provides delicious breakfasts, lunches, and dinners that last up to 25 years. Now, these meals offer over 2,000 calories every day with a balance of protein and carbs to keep you fed and ready to go in the event of an emergency. Just add water and heat, then eat. Start or strengthen your food supply with this 3-month food kit from My Patriot Supply. So go to preparewithlionel.com to get ready. Preparewithlionel.com. I'm going to say it again. Preparewithlionel.com. Go now. Indeed, friends. Now, what I did today was Mrs. L and I had a wonderful afternoon. We did what we do dutifully. We voted. We voted. We had a rather, I would say it's a rather minimalist event. It was a couple of, I think it was just one. I think it was one city council seat. One. And there were 2 ballot initiatives, which I always vote no on. No. Let the legislators decide. Let them legislate. I'm not going to do this from the ballot box. Let them do their job. But I picked up, look at this, my little thing. It says, I voted early. Can you see this? I voted early. Board of Elections, City of New York. I love these things. You know why? I keep them and I use them later. I put them on later. Well, look at this. I'm a future voter. See this? I'm a future voter. What does that mean to you? It means I'm a child, right? Doesn't that mean I'm a child? Or maybe I'm going to vote again in the future? You should have seen us trying to explain to one of the workers that this is for a child. But anyway, what are you going to do? God bless the poll workers. They do the best they can given the limitation that nature has provided. Sam Scheiser says the First Amendment should be altered so that the U.S. can be recognized as a Christian nation. Absolutely not, sir. But it's an excellent point. May I turn this to the crowd? May I turn this to others? Ladies and gentlemen, do you believe that, as Mr. Scheiser says, that we should alter the First Amendment, alter it so that it can be recognized, who is going to be recognized as a Christian nation? Who is in favor of this as a Christian nation? Sam, that is an excellent question. And even though it is patently absurd, I love absurd questions. What do you think? Come on. The answer is no. Of course, no. Why no? Well, a couple of reasons. Number one, the Treaty of Tripoli. The Treaty of Tripoli. Right around the Barbary Coast time. This was when the pirates were going nutty and going crazy. They were going nuts. The pirates were going crazy. And at the particular time, John Adams was asked, I said, well, are you a Christian country? Because they are Mohammedans, as he called Muslims, Mohammedan. And he says, we have to make sure that we establish this once and for all. So I think it was Article 11, I believe, the Treaty of Tripoli, that said this is in no wise a Christian country. We are not a Christian country. But you hear, wait. What about the people? What about the number of people? What about the folks who themselves were avowed Christians, and people who were themselves how do I say this? They were devout Christians. What about the devout Christians? Don't they stand for anything? My God, everybody was saying God, and George Washington was God, and he mentioned God, and this God, and everybody was talking about God, and oh my God, speaking of oh my God, it was incredible. Everybody you can imagine was talking about God. Well, doesn't that mean that therefore, since our founding fathers, since they were themselves a part of saying this, doesn't it mean that the the basis, the bases of our country was in fact Judeo-Christian. Isn't that fair? Isn't that fair to say that the bases of our country were Judeo-Christian? Come on, certainly you can understand that, can you not? Can you not? And the answer is that what they were specifically does not matter. They were deists, and those are people who are defined as those. Well, let me. You know what? Let me just give you a definition. Deist. I came out desist. There's a pun there somewhere. Here is a deist. A deist is a belief in the existence of a creator God who does not intervene in the universe, and in particular in the lives of people. Cleverly, deists try to detach God from religion. And what does that mean? I don't know. I want you to understand something, dear friend. You know I love you. I love you. I honestly love you. You are so beautiful to me. You know it. It's true. And when it comes to your faith and your belief, I believe you are to be the most devout and the most honest and the most dare I say serious when it comes to it. I, however, am not of faith. I don't have anything that you can assign for me that has a name to it. I don't know what you call that which I believe. I don't know what you, and we love you too, Liz. Liz Solak, everybody give it up. I don't know what this is. I'm like a Buddhist. The Buddhist is really an atheist. I am without theism. I am without faith. I don't speak God. But I recognize how important and how critical it is. And that's why I recognize and believe wholeheartedly in the free exercise clause and the really the establishment clause to an extent, which prohibits the establishment of a national religion, which I think would preclude Sam's question, but also the free exercise clause, which prohibits Congress and the government from basically doing something to impair, impede, or affect your ability to freely exercise your faith. Does that make sense to you? Good. That's all that matters. I respect your faith. I respect your faith. I respect your music and your poetry and your loved ones. You may love someone. You may be in love with a wife or a woman or somebody that I could not possibly ever understand or share that feeling. But that doesn't invalidate the legitimacy of your faith. Not in the least. Not in the least. We must always protect your ability to enjoy an unfettered exercise of faith. And here's the thing. If a person does not have the exercise of a faith per se, does this person enjoy any protections whatsoever? Does an atheist, a true atheist, say, well, what about me? You bend over backwards supporting all these people of faith, but when it comes to me, you don't even know who I am. You don't recognize who I am. Now, let's talk about something which is very, very important, very, very critical. Today, Mrs. All and I were walking, and lo and behold, there are pictures and signs all over the place of these Israeli hostages, and they were on various. It was very interesting. I would say, do you have the right to attach something on, let's say, public equipment, public traffic equipment? I mean, do you have? Maybe, I don't know. Does it? It's a fascinating question. Do you have some kind of? It's hard to say. It's hard to say. But. There they were. And I would say certainly, provided, of course, they're not violating some rule by defacing, public policy and the like. By putting this, do they have the right to have this, these posters and these placards and stickers to be put up unmolested and not ripped off by other people? Ladies and gentlemen, get ready. You know him, you love him, from parts unknown, weight unknown. Number 16 in your program, number 1 in your heart. Here we go. The Stanley Fafara of our evening and morning set. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you a Rafael Legonde, who says, but we must take into consideration in Salem, we hung a bunch of poor ladies for no reason. The church accused them of being witches, something weird. Rafael, I want to thank you, not for what you are, but for what you appear to be. Number two, I want you to understand that people did this, disguised as a church. There are people from churches and from areas of belief who do some pretty rancid and pretty terrible things from time to time. And I don't think that in any way should invalidate your belief in something, but I do agree. I don't understand. I don't understand. Now, let me ask you something. Mr. Red Pill writes, I sacrificed faith for control. I don't know what that means, but I like that. When is a religious practice verboten? Answer my question. When is a religious practice verboten? When? Let me ask you a question. If I were to go into a baby's nursery, into a hospital, if I were to walk in there and I were to say, oh, there's a baby right there. There's a baby. And a young boy born. And I would take a knife, a very sharp knife, and I were to cleave a portion of the prepuce, the foreskin, off. And let's make it simple. The parents consented. It was part of a religious ceremony, or it might have been because of health reasons, or whatever. Do you think that in some way passes not only constitutional muster but legal muster when I am basically committing aggravated child abuse against a child? Sam Shizer says the First Amendment should not apply to government criticism. The First Amendment should not apply to government, meaning I do not have the right to criticize the public? Is that what that means? The First Amendment, which is a freedom of speech, should not apply when I'm not sure I understand. If that's what you say, I think you'd have if ever there was a reason for the First Amendment, it would be because of that. But let's talk about this, Sam. I'm removing skin. I'm forced. This is, and some would argue whether the baby feels pain. We're going to argue about it. How is it that I say, well, that's custom. That's custom. That's custom. That's faith. That's religion. We must suspend any and all recognition of that. Now, I don't want to get into the merits of circumcision, whether you're a hard hat or anteater. That's up to you. And I'll let other people talk about that. Please, that's not the point. But the point is, it's a barbaric. If you think about it, if you didn't know what you were doing, it's like, what the hell is this? Do you know what Medzitzibpe is? You're not going to believe this one. This is the one that killed me. This one killed me. Medzitzibpe. METZITZAH. Bepe, meaning direct oral suctioning. When a baby is circumcised, some ritual Jewish circumcisers, or moim, do a practice called Medzitzibpe. Medzitzibpe is when the moil uses their mouth to suck blood away from the baby's circumcision wound as part of the circumcision ritual. After Medzitzibpe, some babies can get an infection. Some were getting herpes. A public health expert has found that Medzitzibpe can put babies at risk of getting a harmful virus called herpes simplex. Okay. This was actually going on. Babies born, their newly ablated prepuces and penises cut, splayed, filleted, and a moil would put his mouth on it to either stanch bleeding or whatever it was. And one guy had herpes. And Mayor Bloomberg said, all right, that's enough. You don't understand. No. We're going to, sorry. What is the story. How do you come up with a balancing act? How do you do that? How? How do you come up with a balancing act? How do you say, okay, this is okay, but this isn't? This is okay, but this isn't. We used to sometimes work. I don't know about you, but sometimes babies, Cubans, my friends would put babies. They would put earrings, a little baby, little earrings. I thought that was a bit much, but it was custom. When does custom give way? Sam Shives, everybody, says the Second Amendment should be rewritten so that every individual is trained and armed. The Second Amendment, by the way, Sam, as you well know, interesting point, by the way. Thank you for these most piquant and poignant and fascinating subjects. As you know, the amendments are not prohibitory. When it comes to citizens, the only constitutional amendment, the only Bill of Rights provision that you can violate, you as an individual citizen, is what, children? Friends and family, what are they? What is the only Bill of Rights provision? Because it's always the First Amendment protects you from the government, from the state government. Second Amendment gives you the right to bear arms. It doesn't mandate anything. It doesn't order anything. The Third Amendment is the right to be free from having soldiers quartered against your will at your home. Fourth Amendment, search and seizure. Fifth Amendment is due process and the usual stuff. Sixth Amendment is right to counsel, speedy trial, etc., etc., etc. What is the only one? What is the only one? The only Bill of Rights provision that a private citizen can violate. Go ahead, please. I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, I ask you, what is it? I'm going to wait all night long until somebody gets the answer. I'm going to wait all night long. What is the only Bill of Rights provision that can be committed by a citizen? Come on now. Let's do it. Let's do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it till you're satisfied, whatever it is. What is it? What is it? The first. No. No. But thanks for playing. You cannot. I cannot violate your First Amendment right if I decide to burn down your printing press. The fifth. No. You can talk about this, but not chemical birth control. Remain silent. No. I cannot violate that. I cannot violate that. Speech. No. No. It's a little tricky, but not really. It kind of makes sense. This is interesting. I like the way you think, though. I like the way you think. Is it arming bears? Yes. And yelling theater in a crowded fire? Yes. Fifth Amendment? No. Speech? No. Remaining silent? No. Fifth? No. Second Amendment? No. No. I cannot violate the Second Amendment. No. Free Palestine? There you go. That is not one, but I understand that. The answer is the 13th. Slavery. That I can violate. If I enslave you, I violated that. You can't mandate how do I say that? The provisions of the Bill of Rights are protective. They limit the government, but not us. They limit the government. That's all it is. Now, when it comes to this, how many people believe right this moment? The Red Pill writes, our dear friend writes, Free Palestine. Excellent. Mr. Pill, how would you do that? Let us have a discussion on that. Please tell me how you would do that. How would you do this? How would you do this? The C, 25th anniversary, Arab internment camps. Yes, fine. By the way, you have the right to say that. I give you the floor. I ask you to say that. And by the way, if you are of somebody else, there was a fascinating article in today's Jerusalem Post, I think it was, that said a Jew who disagrees with this, a Jew who is contrary to this particular way of thinking, is in fact not a Jew. Not a Jew. Because you cannot be either against Israel or pro-Palestine or whatever it is. You cannot. You cannot. You cannot be. So I ask you, my friends, Recognize them as a state. Antonino, okay, very good. We have the state of, is it going to be free Sam Shizer, ladies and gentlemen? Sam Shizer and his cousin Budweiser. Thank you, Sam. Sam the Sham. Thank you, sir. What will it be? Will it be the West Bank? Will it be Gaza? Will it be combined? Who runs it? Is it Palestinian Authority? Is it Abu Mazen? Is it Nasrallah and Hezbollah? Who does it? Who does it? Who does it? Bringing all the Palestinians to Libya, give Libya a lot of money to them. No, you can't say, and you go and you can have, and you go over there. No, that's like these crypto, these purported Zionists who say, I'm all for Jews having a free state. Get out. Remember that? It was that. No, I'm all for this. I'm a Zionist. I'm 100% Zionist. You and all your Jewish friends, get out. Go there. Get the hell out of here. That's what they did. That's what their version of it was, which I found kind of interesting. It's like, are you sure that this is what about is this the what? Let me ask you something. Is it constitutional to hate Jews and or Palestinians? Do you have the right to hate them? Is hate constitutional? I ask you right now. Do you have the right to hate? Yes or no? I ask you this. Very important. Silver Fox says, have MBS be the adult in the room and settle this. That's what I've been saying for the longest time, Silver. Great minds think alike. See all this stuff, sending them away, sending them. What do you mean sending them? Who, by the way, is 100% on the side of Israel? Who, by the way, is 100% unequivocally, absolutely on the side of Israel, meaning that whatever they're doing, whatever this particular phrase is, to level Gaza, to quash Hamas, you are 100% behind them. Who is it? Anybody? It's interesting. Because you have the right to say that here. Please, ladies and gentlemen, you have the right to, I want everybody to speak their mind. Speak their mind. What is it? Hillbilly 55, is it? Hate speech, criminal statutes are a violation of the First Amendment. Wrong. But I'm kind of with you. Hate crime statutes, I believe, are violative of the First Amendment. Is it possible for you to be on the side of the Palestinians and the Israelis? Yes or no? Is it possible for you to do that? I believe so. I believe so. Absolutely, positively. What happened? What happened to those Israeli citizens by Hamas? It was horrible. It was despicable. It was terrible. It was the worst thing you can imagine. And by the way, we're going to argue whether people were raped or beheaded or whatever. I'll let other people do that. Okay. But all I know is it was pretty simple because we see the evidence as indicated from Hamas itself when they moved in and basically took over. They moved in and kind of took over, and they documented very, very clearly and specifically what it was that was going on. That was that was beyond incredible. That was beyond incredible. Beyond, I could not believe what I was seeing. Could not believe what I was saying. That being said, my friends, that being said, how do we figure this thing out? Oreo says, there's our good friend. Cookie people, cream people, crumbs people, clean people, dunk people, dip people, gulp people. Thank you so much. Sip people, if you're wonder filled, then let it show. People play, however, come together. Oreo people. Thank you. By the way, Oreos, vegan, and I love an Oreo. And I have never understood dismantling the Oreo. Never, ever. To me, I want, by the way, Oreo, thank you. I want the Oreo in its entirety. I want its entirety. I do not want it broken apart. No, I say taking a sandwich and putting meat apart. No, makes no sense to me. This is what I want. Please, I want you to understand, my friends, you do not have to like Israel or Palestine or anything. This is a free speech zone. You can say whatever you want. I'm fascinated. I want to hear what people have to say. And I am telling you right now, I am telling you that there are people who are saying, "You don't understand this. We've given the Palestinians everything. What do they want?" Okay, that makes sense. The Palestinians who say, "We live in horror, in terror. We can't go anywhere. This is apartheid. It's genocide." Do you think they're making this up? Do you think what they're just wrong? They're just all wrong? Sorry. I think you're wrong. I'm not saying they're wrong. My following, or passing judgment on that which is irrelevant in this particular point. They're very, very rarely do you see something. Now, as far as BB goes, BB Netanyahu, I don't know what this guy's thinking. I have no idea what this guy's thinking. I don't get it. I don't get it. I have never seen in my life, in my life, such orchestrated, coordinated, choreographed, anti-Israel, organized around the world. Have you? What do you think that's about? What do you think that's about? As a witness to what's going on, what do you think that is about? I'm asking you. What do you think it's about? Absolutely, they have a point. They have a point. Of course. There's never going to be a two-state solution. Never. Never. It's never going to be, "Okay, we're gonna go." No. The bottom line is simply this. Okay, rule number 1, Israel, Gaza wants to be left alone. They want you to back off and let them go come and go as they please. It's their country. It's like, trying to think, if we went to Mexico and they wouldn't let us come back to the United States, I can let them I could see them saying, "Well, we don't want you coming into Mexico, okay, but excuse me, I'm going home. You can't." "What do you mean you can't? You're gonna go there and you're gonna, raise money and, munitions and arms, and you're gonna attack us. I'm gonna attack you, so you're not letting me go? What?" And that's what they're saying. Gazans are saying, "We live in this apartheid. We live in this world where we can't even go." Just go on, look what people say. "I can go here, here's a map, I can go here. The Israeli soldiers treat me terribly, I'm abused." The Israeli soldiers will say, "You don't know what we go through. What are you talking about?" There's all I mean, it's a mess. It's like taking a bar fight and moving the bar fight someplace else. Ladies and gentlemen, Edie Crowley says, "Now would be the perfect time for a Romeo, Muslim, and Juliet Jewish movie or play to come out. More love." Or artwork. That's all I wanna say. Right there, front and center, Edie. Um, it's like taking the Edie's like by the way, thank you. It's like taking a bar fight and moving it, "Hey, let's move it into this bar next door. Everybody join us. Come on, let's go next door where you can beat the hell out of each other in this other bar." It's not the way to do it. There's never going to be peace there. They hate each other. They want this particular real estate, and they have since the beginning of time, and that's it. And there may be lulls, there may be moments, but it's never gonna happen. So what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? You are not you don't understand this. Nobody is going to listen to your, suggestion. Nobody. Israel? Yes. You're gonna have to back off and let these Gazan people alone. Excuse me, these people are going to be sending missiles back. Okay, alright, 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 alright. I dig, but, no, no, no. This is not a good thing. This is not going to work. They're gonna have to they live in complete squalor. They live Don't look at us, look at Hamas. They're the you see, this is where we go through this again. Hamas, it's your fault. What do you mean it's our fault? It's not our fault. We're trying to protect them. No, yes or no? Yes or no? Answer this question. This is my favorite. Is Hamas a terrorist organization? Yes or no? Number 1 for yes, number 2 for no. Let's hear it. We have out of the thousands of people watching, answer my question. Is it a terrorist organization? Yes or no, I ask. Yes or no? This is my favorite question. Is it yes? Is it yes? Everybody says yes, 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 yes. Andy Karma says it's an ideology. You're repeating that. It's an ideology with guns and paragliders. And you see where one of the Hamas leaders, they say he's worth $5 billion. He's in Qatar. Oh, this is beautiful. What a rocket. When you call something a terrorist group, what you do is you immediately stop all discussion, all rational uh, discussion of it. And what you do is you put it all aside and you miss the point completely. It does something. Someone says, "Americans say yes." Yes, we say that. What about vis-a-vis relative to the Gazans? Do they think it is? Depending upon which side you're on. Junior West is correct. Depends on which side you're on. If you're in Gaza and you can say, "You know what? I'm a 50-year-old man, and I've never seen the attention given." Nobody even knew we were here until Gaza did until, Hamas did this. Nobody even knew we were here until this happened. That's the truth. You can call it what you want. You can call it what you want. And it's a moot, it's a ridiculous question. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever because we were to say yes or no, yes, it is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It is critical for you, my friend. It's critical for you to understand very, very something very, very, very specific. I want you to listen carefully. It depends upon from their point of view. So there's no such thing as looking at it. Now, sometimes there are criminals who do terrible things, and we really don't care why they do it. Maybe a sentencing we might wanna consider for amelioration or mitigation purposes. We might wanna say, well, the reason why they robbed the place, money, okay, maybe in sentencing, maybe that would explain some of it. But what I'm telling you, my friends, is that to the people relative to the people in Gaza, those folks are saying, "These people are terrorists." And the only way that this is gonna happen is if MBS in particular comes out and says, "Alright, that's enough. That's enough. I don't wanna hear any more about this anymore." You are gonna stop this. You are gonna back off. We're not gonna have any more rockets from Gaza into Israel. You understand that, Hamas? That's you. This bullshit is gonna stop now. And Israel, you're gonna let these people come and go, and you're not gonna cut them off and limit their calories and do whatever the hell it is. This is not gonna be this open in air, whatever. It's not gonna be apartheid. That's over with. That's done. It's done. It is finished. And we're gonna set up our own peacekeepers. Israel, if you're cool with this, and Gaza, if you're cool with it, we're gonna bring in our own folks from Jordan, Qatar, from the Emirates, uh, and now you probably don't want people from, Lebanon or Iran, but we gotta agree who's who. Forget the UN, they're worthless, worthless. We're gonna have people who are there, maybe as their own human shield, but this is going to stop. The first missile, we are going to presume, unless it's a false flag, we're going to presume it's from Hamas, and the whole game goes and we're gonna go in, we, 'cause I'm MBS, and I'm gonna take their money out of the banks, and I'm gonna penalize them. You understand that? That's what we're gonna do right now. We're in charge. No thanks, UN. No thanks, everybody. That's what we're gonna do. Anybody? Oh, a serious question. What is MBS waiting for? Oh, Silver. MBS is waiting for the time when MBS knows exactly when it will be most propitious, most advantageous. Think about this very carefully right now. Let me also remind you as we take just Just let me remind you again, I gotta tell you again, please, please subscribe to this channel. You've gotta subscribe. It is so critical, so critical. My friends, it is so, so, so critical that you subscribe and that you like these videos and that you always hit the little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. And also, by the way, you know what's coming up? You know what's coming up in about a month? Christmas. Christmas. You know what makes a great stocking stuffer? Fine for dad or grad? Oh, think about this. I got the best gift for you, and it's so easy for you to do. So easy. You just go online and you can beat it. You know what it is? Let me tell you. Let me tell you about my great friends at mypillow.com. Mypillow.com. And by the way, use promo code Lionel. Use promo code Lionel and receive a free gift. No purchase necessary. And yes, I realize that gifts are free. It's a tautology. Get over it. Sue me. So what are we talking about? How about Giza Dream bed sheets? My Pillow 2.0 sheets, slippers, percales, towels, quilts, bedspreads, mattresses, mattress covers, mattress toppers, linens, kitchen towels, bathrobes, name it. Items to luxuriate and relax. And don't forget, Christmas is just around the corner. And yes, it makes a great stocking stuffer, and it's fine for dad or grad. Made by the greatest company from the greatest people in the greatest country. Or call 800-645-4965 if you're OG and see how quickly Mike Lindell answers the phone. 800-645-4965. But don't forget, only use promo code Lionel. That's mypillow.com. Promo code Lionel. Mypillow.com. Promo code Lionel. I love the discussions that we have, and I love the fact that that it seems to be intractable. It seems to be that there is no answer to this. And the question is vile and hateful anti-Israel speech protected by the First Amendment? Yes. Yes. This people love the idea that you can't say that. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Do you hate? What do you hate? Do you hate people? When you see these snotty folks tearing down signs, you ask yourself, why do they do this? Ladies and gentlemen, here's a new name, Veritas 6464. Good day, old mate. Tell us again who made Hamas and why. Not who made Hamas, but it's a very good question, Veritas. And thank you very much for your. It's not who made Hamas, but the same reason that who made the Muslim Brotherhood, the Waft Party, who accelerated, who made the Hamas. Well, it works like this. There was a time when they believed that there was a benefit to try to reconfigure, to reformulate, to repackage Hamas and the like into something a little bit different. Not Hamas, excuse me, Fatah, Palestinian Liberation Organization, PLO, and that sort of thing. They were rather secular. So I thought, wouldn't it be great if we bring on board these clerics, these religious folks, to act as a counterbalance, to act as an ideological counterbalance to these folks, who will then act as a means of affecting and limiting and diluting the efficacy or the danger or whatever that is presented by this. One of the most stupid ideas in the world. Same thing with the Waft Party, with Muslim Brotherhood. Same thing. It's like you're almost doing a gain of function virus in a lab. It's like this. It's a gain of function lab. And it's, everybody admits it. I hope they don't do this anymore. It's ridiculous. Did you hate Nazi Germany? and Hitler? When you see that swastika, does something come over you? Do you feel something visceral? Do you feel this visceral sense of horror that comes over you? Do you? When you see this particular geometric configuration, is there something that makes you think, oh dear God, I can't believe this ever happened. I can't believe it ever happened. Does it? Is it safe to say that you hated these people? Is it safe to say that you hated these people? That there was a sense of revulsion, that you would not mind going ahead and basically eliminating people who were a member of this group, eliminating them outright, eliminating them, taking them out most violently. Any problem with that? You see any problem with that at all? There's that? Is that understandable? So it's not that hate is a problem. It's you've got to have the right people, right? Does that make sense? You got to have the right people. You just can't get to anybody, right? Isn't that the way it works? So there's nothing wrong with hate. Hating's okay. Hating's okay. It's finding the people. Veritas says sort of like Frankenstein's monster off the leash. Yes. Or like creating a bug or a mosquito or some type of critter to throw the balance off. Absolutely. That's precisely what this is. And who thinks like this? They do. Sometimes people get to the point where they overthink themselves. Vietnam, the Vietnamization. Let's go and let's win the hearts and minds of these people. Let's go and let's treat them with this new idea of it's preposterous. The whole notion is preposterous. And when you start messing with people, but here's the thing, Veritas, which is the most important. There are some people which you're never going to be able to allow to get their hands off each other's necks. Sam Shizer says we should get rid of the women's right to vote. Well, there you go. Well, that's a good one. Very piquant. 19th Amendment, is that what you want to do? Okay. I'll play along. Is there anybody here who believe that a right to vote? And by the way, Sam, you might want to say this. You might not in support of what you're saying, but there is something which is very interesting here. I am of the belief, and I think you are as well. I'm of the belief that since the vote itself and the franchise is under such attack by virtue of what's going on right here, who are we really to say, or who are we really to argue that we as Americans have this indefatigable protection of the franchise, because the franchise is great. We can't deny women to the right to vote, even though in Georgia and other states, in Philadelphia and others, it's been suggested and alleged that votes were just thrown and cast away incredibly. Just so you mean to tell me that I can't, as Sam wants to eliminate the right for women to vote, when you don't even respect the right for all of us to vote and to have that vote counted? Veritas says, now the flower of our youth have to get it sorted. You're correct about that. By the way, Veritas, I'm assuming you're from Australia. And I love the way that Australia is represented in our country. Of course, Crocodile Dundee. We have the most ridiculous tie me kangaroo down. But this always, kangaroos and boomerangs and the hat, that one hat, and it's almost racist if it was a name with a race. It's always we never take Australians seriously. Good night, mate. You always want to drink and shrimp in a bar. I understand that, but it's a real form of, I would say, honest to God, you might say like a stereotypical excess as far as I'm concerned. It's horrible. Who are some of the people, by the way, in our countries who are historically depicted poorly? I say Australians. I also say Australians, to be sure, but also there's this I guess for lack of a better word, there's a group of folks who are, well, I remember years ago they had this thing about Sicilian pizza. It was Pizza Hut or something, and they had these old Italian women, Sicilian women, with the black dress and the chignon and the sensible shoes, and they all look like this. I think that's stereotypical. All Italian grandmothers don't look like this. I thought that was kind of racist. Again, not racist, but what people call racist, because it's demographically incorrect. It's weird the way they're always portrayed. I think it's awful the way Germans, and I must admit, I never do we ever hear German in my particular culture spoken beautifully? Or I mean, you always have like Elke Summer, but those are like Swedish and others, until Nina came along. I know this sounds very provincial, but Nina, who did 99 Luftballons, and she's the most beautiful singer, and she gives such a lyricality. Again, I'm not an expert on German music, but even the way we always portray Germans are always yelling and screaming, and we show these stereotypical things about whatever. We look at people. I'm telling you right now, Americans look at Arabs, they look at people from Gaza, Palestinians, as being primitive, not in our league. They're kind of like weird. And Israel, a little cut above. Deep down inside, Americans saying, I don't know what these people are talking about. They're crazy. They're arguing over this, and they wear a hat, and they don't wear a hat, and they want to kill each other, and there's just no going. That's what Americans say. And nobody wants to say that, but it's true. Both Jews and Arabs and Muslims. We have this thing. We just have this weird stereotype as to what they're about. If you go there, so I guess it goes for any particular, and I am not a great traveler. I don't, but believe it or not, what I love to do, and you're going to laugh at this, but some of the best ways to learn about people is by their food. And Mark Wiens, and I think Food Ranger, and the guy with a red kerchief, and others, they always have this kind of like unctuous, overly, and this is wonderful. Oh, stop it. Anyway, but I want to sit down, and I would love to say, show me what you eat. Let me talk with you. And show me what you like. I don't want to talk politics. Show me what you eat. Show me how you eat. Show me what you eat. What is the thing that you enjoy eating with? Is it a naan? Is it a bread? Everybody's got some form of bread. Mike Tewksbury says, Sam Shizer is my husband-in-law. Leave him alone. Well, there you go. Sam Shizer is a damn good person. And don't you ever even suggest that I or anybody else would have the unmitigated audacity as to suggest that Sam Shizer was doing anything or was being deliberately piquant or opprobrious just to get a reaction. You understand that? Aussie larrikinism. Aussie larrikinism. Dilligaff with a beer and a smile. I don't know what that means, but God bless you. That is I do not know, and forgive me, the difference between Australian accents and New Zealand. Sometimes I'm a little thrown off. When I hear a New Zealand, I go, oh, that's New Zealand. But if I hear them right off the bat. I don't know. 60 Minutes Australia is the supreme news source, and Sky News Australia, fantastic, absolutely incredible, incredible. I was looking again. YouTube is my way of looking at. I was looking at, for example, in China, Chinese black people. And when I say black people, maybe African, maybe Trinidadian, maybe Nigerian, but they're born either in China or they are or they're expats, and invariably, I hear this idea of, if there is racism, and I may be wrong, but if there is racism, it's very minuscule. If you want to see real anti-black racism, go to other countries, not the United States necessarily, but other countries as well. Let me ask you this question. Why do people hate black people? Not all people, but what is the basis of racism? What's the basis for it? If you want to figure that one out, go back to the idea of anti-Semitism. That's why it bothers me so much when I hear what's being said about Jews versus Israelis or versus the Israeli government. Why do people hate black people? What is it? What was that initial thing that made people crazy like this? My Toothbury says, you don't get it. My husband-in-law is always right, and you're out here saying you don't agree with him. Okay. Excellent point. Thank you. I think he has a tremendous talent for being piquant. You disagree with that? Probably not. But let's go back to why people hate each other. What is it? When was it? When you're in the South, it's what you're taught. When you're in the South and you're told black people do this, they can't do this, they can't do that, they come. It's just, if that's the way you're taught, that's the way it is. But what's the basis of it? What is the basis? What is the problem? I mean, what? There has never been, ever, in our country, we could say now, but historically, where black folks were the majority or enjoyed any kind of prominence in terms of government compared to us. Where did this hatred come from? Where? Marcia Mills says, Louisiana is low-hanging fruit for stereotypical humor, speaking as a proud native of our beautiful state and its rich, diverse culture. Martha, I thank you so much for that. Seriously. And there are three states which I think recognize or should be recognized as being completely and totally all their own in terms of ideology and uniqueness. Texas, West Virginia, and Louisiana. There's no doubt about that. Ladies and gentlemen, the man who's always peaking, always, never rides the fence, never sugarcoats it. You know him, you love him. Here he is, Sparky, who says, the world won't soon forget them. Israel's taken such a worldwide PR hit that they'll be lucky if in 75 years an Israeli Defense Force veteran gets a standing ovation from the Canadian Parliament. Wow. Interesting. That was very good. In view of what has happened lately regarding various standing ovations, that was your best one so far. Absolutely your best one so far in terms of I get it. PR, the worst. The worst. There was a time in this country when the notion of Israeli anything there was a kind of a neat sound to it. It was like dangerous. You know, what is this? It's Israeli martial arts. Ooh, Krav Maga. Yes. Ooh, yeah. There was a guy, I'm not going to tell you, but friend of a friend of a friend. I knew it doesn't matter, but you would know his name. Believe me. Big, big, big star. And he said in Hollywood, it was considered the thing to get an IDF bodyguard. I don't know how that would be now. The American Historical Theater says, American Historical Theater provides a world-class historical characters and interpretations. We provide over 100 characters and a variety of programs, and we thank you for that. And don't forget the great words of Tolstoy, history would be a wonderful thing if only it were true. That's all I'm going to tell you. Veritas says, larrikin, happy-go-lucky, carefree, footloose. Let me look up this. Larrikin. Larrikin, Larrikin, is an Australian English term meaning a mischievous young person, an uncultivated, rowdy, but good-hearted person, or a person who acts with apparent disregard for social or political conventions. That's me. That's me, larrikin. I like it. Versus a ramekin, which is what you use when you're cooking. I would love to say to you that Dilligaff. Do I look like a... Okay. Hang on. I love new words. Dilligaff. I do not see it. What does Dilligaff mean? Dilligaff mean... Oh, do I... What does Dilligaff means? Do I look like a... Yeah, okay. Expressing concern. I look like a... That's interesting. You know, one of the things you'll like about this, Veritas, is that I am a purveyor of the dirty word. Sam Scheiser's back for more. I want you to back off on Sam. Sam says racism is being orchestrated by the U.S. government in order to create division. I certainly think it's been exacerbated from time to time, but I think probably you can argue what started initially was slavery. At least here, when you were told, see those people, they're slaves, they're cattle, they don't matter. It's probably, one could argue, if that was being endorsed by the government, you're on to saying something about that. Can you say things about black people in this country? If I were to say, hi, I'm from another planet. This is I got this guy here. He wants to ask you a question. Can you say some things about black people? No. Really? Not at all. Nothing. Oh, you sure about that? Positive. Because you see, I'm in charge of a company that wants to spend about $1 billion in ad revenue, and I'm looking for a Madison Avenue type company to tell me some of the trends and some of the characteristics of black folks, and apparently you can't. So I'm looking at this from the viewpoint of a kind of a PR vantage point to tell me specifically what it is that they do and the way they act and whatever. Oh, okay. Okay. I had a friend of mine one time who owned a bar. He owned a bar in a series of bars. He owned a bar in a, what you would call, I don't know if I'm here, but a project. This was in a housing population, which was exclusively black, low income black in Tampa. And he had a series of, not in the project itself, but adjacent to it. And he would tell me things. He had absolutely not, this was his clientele. He knew specifically what things worked, what didn't work, what drinks worked, what different behaviors, times of the week, times of the day, mores. This is bar, and you might argue this is from a particular group of people. Okay, fine. If you want to own a Greek diner and you don't think you know anything about Greek people, if you think you cannot make generalizations about people, you're out of your mind. Mike Tewksbury said, thank you for taking it easy on my husband-in-law. He's an emotional support dog to me, as well as he is and appears. And I can understand well. And I thank you for that through my gibberish here. A friend of mine told me one time, great advice. He said, if you ever want to, young men should get advice on how to talk to women from gay men. Guy I talked to was a hairdresser, straight, married, kids, but he's worked with gay men his whole life. And they do far better in uh, styling and cutting and coloring than straight men did, for a variety of reasons. And he said one of the things he noticed, he says, from watching, he said they absolutely positively get along so well with women. Men, I don't know about men. Men, sometimes your wife will have a gay friend. Mrs. L has so many gay acquaintances. Both of us do. But I know what he's talking about. And if I say these things, people think, oh, you're being general. No, I'm not. But this one friend told me this. He said, let me explain something to you. He says, all young men who are out trying to court women or listen, he says, you're doing it all wrong. He said, watch a gay man. Because women love to talk. Is that generalizing? Of course it is. Women love to talk. Women enjoy talking more than men do. This is a fact. But how they talk is a different story. So what he said was, first of all, he says gay men always dress very well. Spend an inordinate amount of time working on dress and how they look, and it's very, very important. That's number one. Number two, not all, but 99%. Number two, he says, when you talk to a woman, talk to them like their mother, not their father. When something goes wrong or whatever, don't say, why'd you do that? Or what's that all about? That's how your father would say it. Instead, you say, well, how did that make you feel? Are you okay? Tell me about it. What did you do then? How did you feel? And what did she say? Love this. And it was the best bit of advice I've ever heard in my life. And it was fascinating about generalizing about gay people. Isn't this something which is considered by many people to be a form of pathology, gayness, has, not in all cases, but in so many cases, either produced or been accompanying some of the most talented people, bar none. How is that? Why does this particular predilection towards a particular form of attraction lend itself to, not in all cases, but a lot of cases, artistic and fashion perception that we don't see elsewhere? Why is that? Women don't necessarily have that. Women are not necessarily fashion prone. Women are not. This is different. It's like a hybrid. Why is that? And this is meant as a compliment. I'm not being gratuitous. Of course, today you'll get into trouble no matter what you say. There are things that we notice about people. And I'm telling you, if I go to your area, if I go to your country or your country or your city, you can't tell me anything about this. You don't think I can tell you about New York? Certain parts of New York? They're different parts. If I said, I want to take you to Arthur Avenue in the Bronx, very Italian area, I want to sit there, see if you notice anything. Can you pick up any trades? Are you kidding me? Absolutely. Let's go to Williamsburg. Heavily Jewish population. Want to see the Lubavitchers? You want to see the Hasidim? Look. Do you notice anything? Yes, of course. Where would you like to go? You want to go to Greenwich, Connecticut? You want to go to Lansing, Michigan? You see how people act. There are tendencies that people have, idiosyncratic behaviors that it's not racist to point them out. It's a matter of being obvious. Sparky says, in the course of studying real history, I found there were times when racism only went as far as preference, like preferring brunette over a blonde. When government codifies it, racism gets worse. Oh, I agree with you. Let me ask you this, Sparky, is racism ever positive? Robert De Niro has a propensity, it seems, a predilection, a propensity, a proclivity for finding, ostensibly, black women attractive. Ostensibly. Okay? Ostensibly. Is that racist? Or is that, as you say, a preference? What is the difference between a preference and a fetish? When is a fetish versus a preference? When do things, how we know these things. We know these things. Let me give you an example. Gradations of language. I've got a friend of mine one time who's Irish, and he says, excuse me, can you tell me where the toilet is? And I said, let me just explain something. I said to you, the bathroom, we go to the bathroom, the men's room, the ladies' room, that's what we call it, the restroom, the men's room. You're talking about the toilet. To us, the toilet is the actual physical object itself. It's the toilet. It's the thing in which you deposit whatever it is. That's the toilet. It's considered crude and rude and all this stuff. That's what a toilet is. He said, oh, I didn't know that. I said, yes. First time I heard this, my friend one time said, I want you to meet my partner. I said, oh, hey, that's great. No, seriously, I didn't. No. What are you talking about? And he had a name. I'm not going to mention her name. I didn't know his name, but it was a name. The way he said it could have been anything. Because you get names like Siobhan and Roisin, and you can't spell them with fadas, and I don't know how to spell these. What's his name? Simter. Okay, I don't know what that is, but he's a partner. I thought he was gay. I never heard the European partner thing. This is a while back. I had no idea. I said, when I met her, I said, you might want to, it's okay. And then he says, what, are you pissed? I said, no, not really. He meant drunk. I thought he meant pissed off. Different things. Well, if language can be that confusing, so can ideas and so can items. Let me ask you a question. You're hypothetical. Your husband, your son or your daughter comes up and says, Dad, Mom, I'm marrying somebody. They're white, you're white. He's black. What do you say? What do you think? Be honest. What do you think? What do you say? This is what you say. Well, as long as he's happy, right? I want to meet him. Now, you would normally want to meet somebody, right? But be honest. Talk about what you would really feel. What is it? Oscar Wilde. Oscar Wilde, the genius of geniuses. Indeed, sir. Thank you, Sparky. What would you think? Sparky, what would you think? Would you be happy? Would you say, that's great? I know some people who would, because they're or would you say, well, this is a rough country we live in, and I hope it, might be rough because people are stupid. Now, is that a concern for them, or is that racism? If your son came to you and said, Mom, Dad, I'm gay, you would say, we love you no matter what. Are you happy about that? No. Are you homophobic? When does a dislike, a preference, or an idea, you might say to yourself, if you're Jewish, a young man marries a shiksa, she doesn't want to convert. Maybe there are considerations regarding the race. When does a preference, when do your strong feelings override, or when are they acceptable? If you said, I would prefer my wife or my son's wife be educated, have a college degree. What if you found out that your husband, your son or your daughter came home and was in love with somebody who was paralyzed, in a wheelchair, couldn't move? Do you, if you show a reluctance, if you show something less than overwhelming, delirious excitement, are you a racist, an ableist? See, this is what I love to fascinate. What is a race? How do you even define it? I think a race is somebody where you believe. A race is somebody who believes either I am superior to them or they are inferior to me. Right off the bat, without saying anything. Across the board, 100%. But nobody's, for a variety of reasons, either because of some kind of genetic thing, culture, whatever it is. A racist is somebody who starts off with the idea that somebody is not as good and will never be as good. And you will tolerate them, you will placate them, you won't do anything wrong, but you'll be very obsequious, very fawning, you'll be a little bit rough to them. But that's the way that goes. Now, what if the opposite? What if you say, I want my daughter to marry a black man because it would be great because I could show, as our friend used to say, I'm Afro sympathetic. It would be terrific. And they can adopt a Chinese baby and get a French bull and they'll drive a ring. And this would be great. A black husband would be great. Makes us look, hip. It makes us look, yeah, that's it. Is that racist? What do you mean? That's positive. Is that racist? Am I taking my particular definition and twisting it by virtue of saying, "Well, it's positive," but isn't that racist? Where I'm taking something which I hope he's left-handed. I hope he's left-handed. Why? Well, we could use a southpaw for our softball team. Okay, well that's different. I believe in Potter Stewart when he said in the Jacobellis case, I know it when I see it. I know it when I see it. If you say, I'm not crazy about this. Sorry. My son's going to marry a Puerto Rican. I'm not crazy about this. What does that mean? I don't know. They're probably not crazy about it either. Why? Because it's not from I don't know. Is that racist? What's wrong with that? Why is that bad? Why is that even bad? Insidious says, not buying the official ACH story. Okay, and interesting. Why would you not, per se? Are we talking about ACH payments, automatic clearinghouse? Are we speaking of something, any particular type of it? Like pasta in Italy and meat pies in Australia, it's a culture. It's funny. My dear friend, is from Adelaide. One of the nicest guys in the world, and he never went crazy unless anybody talked about shrimp on the Barbie. He says, I can't do the accent. He says, I only saw a kangaroo once in a zoo in San Diego. Think about that one. Sparky says, I've dated all flavors of women. I can't see racism as positive other than physical description or medical issues. Interesting. See, that's my thing is, Sparky, I think there is this realm where I am a person who has an opinion about everybody. I have an opinion about everybody. I'm very, very opinionated about everything and about everybody. There are people I like and don't like and people I don't particularly care for. And the first thing I would look, if I looked at somebody, I would say, I don't like their family. I don't like who these people are. I think they're low rent. I think they're trash. I don't like them. They get drunk at weddings or whatever it is. I don't like them. I just don't like any of these people. I think I'm better than them. Let's say I were to say this, and they're white. What does that mean? Is that okay? Is that okay? Why? I don't like this one. They're rude. They belch. They have terrible manners. They get drunk. I don't like them. There's nobody who's got a degree in the whole group. Does that make me a white racist? Now, if I took that same group, said the same thing, but they were black, am I racist now? If I said the same thing about white people, that was okay? Insidious says, yes, automatic clearinghouse. I like this. These places are required to maintain business continuity disaster recovery plans to ensure they can continue to deliver mission critical services. Maybe this is a test. I want to party with you, and I want to party with you. I'm an Adelaide boy, and Cooper Petty, I hope I'm saying Cooey. I know you're saying something. I was a big fan years ago of a man from Adelaide. His name was a great disc jockey for years, Bob Francis. One of the most celebrated, great. He was a friend of mine's father, and he was just terrific. I think Little River Band, Glenn Shorrock and B. Birtles, I think they're from Adelaide too. I don't know. Little River Band, one of the most underrated bands ever. Okay, you got that? Absolutely underrated. But I don't want to go to Australia because I cannot fly that long. I'm sorry. I love you. I love you to death. I cannot do that. Unless I'm sedated, maybe. I don't want to do that. Um, I flew to Israel, I thought. Uh, that was forever. That was 10 hours and 20 minutes. Yeah, nonstop. That was, and that's just 10 hours. I can't even imagine. I can't do that. I hate flying. I hate airports. I hate everything about it, but I wish I could snap my fingers and say, I want to spend time with you. And I want to go and I want to see what you do and whom you hate. I'll tell you one thing I am. May I say something? May I admit? And I'll be the first one to tell you. I am not a racist. I don't, put it this way, if I'm a racist, it doesn't, or homophobic, I don't ever get the chance to use my homophobia or my racism. But I will tell you what I am, which I'm biased. I'm an ageist. I have to listen more to young people because they annoy the shite out of me. And I realize they don't know what they're talking about. And I find myself thinking that. And it's terrible. I just, I don't want to be around them. I don't particularly, I mean, I sort of, I cannot, it's like another, I never thought this was possible. I never noticed it before. Maybe I was closer to that. But people in their 20s now, oh dear God, no. I have no, and maybe they look at me the same way. Maybe they look at me and they say, this guy, he's from another planet. But I see that weird kind of look in their eye, and I don't see any kind of nothing in common, and I see a kind of a detached inability to really think logically and rationally. I don't know if that makes anything. Veritas says, I knew Mr. Francis plugged my Cambodia exhibition. Oh, he was something. This guy was you big jolly guy, rode a Harley, and great talent. Loved by them. So anyway, this is fascinating. Have we had fun tonight? Have we hate? Oh, I hate tattoos. Oh, yes. Oh, thank you. I will do my best. I don't hate people with tattoos, but I hate tattoos. I hate them. Another one too is you know who I'm finding. I don't hate. I don't use the word hate. There's somebody that I despise. Her name is Paige Spiranak. I am, and I'm going to say this. This is the way I feel. And I'm going to say this. This is a woman who is apparently, she wants to show you, look how buxom I am. Okay, great. Look how sexy I am. Okay. I detest this. First of all, what are you doing? Number one. I know it's been around since forever, but do you think I'm going to somehow lose my mind? Me, retired photojournalist, former war correspondent and vet. Oh, I love war correspondents. Oh my God. There's that. Who was that one? They knighted him. Oh my God. He had Michael Herr is still the best. The Dispatches, I think Dispatches, still the best Vietnam book by war correspondent. Unbelievable. It makes you a culturalist, not a racist. Could be. But this Paige Spiranak, their name Spiranak. First of all, I'm going to tell you something right now. And I don't fit in, and I've never fit in, but I'm going to tell you something. I don't like to use the word slut, skank, skeeve, slattern, trollop, meretrix, hoe, whatever it is. It's a free country. You can do whatever you want. But when somebody goes out of their way to try to seduce the world, it makes me say, do you have any idea how pathetic you are? Number one. Do you have any idea what social media has done to take normal women and turn them into these monosyllabic, like, look how sexy I am. You know you want me. You know you want me. And what I don't understand is, I'm saying, if your breasts are hanging out, why don't you just take them out? Here in New York, it's not against the law. If it's true, by the way, being topless in public in New York is not against the law. Why don't you just take them out and just show the world? What are you trying to do? You're a golfer and you want us to see your breasts all the time because you're what? And now I understand this. She says, I make a lot of money. I'm sure she does. Some men go ape shit over this. I understand this. It turns me off because it makes me say, like, do you think I'm going to lose my mind? What are you doing? What are you doing? Don't you have any self-respect? It's called modesty. The sexiest people in the world, the sexiest women, are modest. That's the beauty or is class and finish and refinement and air and attitude and how they carry themselves, what they say, what they think, the way they present themselves shows self-respect. The first thing I think of when I see somebody walking around like that, I'm thinking, were you abused as a child? Is this the way you get your attention? Is this the way that you find yourself gratified, or do you feel like you're noticed this way? I know it sounds terrible, and I'm in the minority here because most men do not go, is she hot? I think it's disgusting. Disgusting. I mean, do you not know? I mean, have you? I mean, seriously, I don't want to be, but have you ever seen a woman before? Yeah. Okay, so this is not like the first time, right? I can see if you, hey, I've never seen a Tyrannosaurus. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's interesting. But sometimes I think men are like, they're little boys and they're kind of trained to act like that. That drives me nuts. And there is nothing. Now you figure that. Am I a misogynist? Absolutely not. Oh, look at this. Gotta go, old mate. Love your work. See you later, eh? I love it. Thank you so much for that. And thank you so much. Sorry, you've been terrific. Thank you very much for your kindness. Thank you. Truly, 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 truly. You're a good man. I think we've spoken enough. Are you probably done and tired with that? That's okay. I understand this. Oh, look at this. Liz says, I hope I was able to pull off a classy, refined act at your show. Are you kidding? With the parasol and the minuet? Absolutely. So, my friends, I want to thank you for this. We've been talking now an hour and 27 minutes. And I think that's enough. A lot of fun. You've been so terrific. Veritas, thank you so much, my new friend. Sparky, thank you. Insidious, thank you as well. Insidious, Sparky. Mike Tewksbury, thank you, Mike. Sam Shizer, Sam, you were the hit tonight. You were the hit. You were without peer, my friend. American Historical Theater, thank you as well. And thank you, Martha Mills. Thank you. And let me see. And that's Silver Fox and the lovely Edie Crowley and our friends at Oreo, by the way. Oreo, by the way, is vegan. Just to let you know, whatever that means. Rafael Legonde, thank you so much. And thank you for being a part of this thing of ours. Remember, I love thinking through things with you. It is an honor spending this evening with you. You have a great and a glorious day. We will see you tomorrow, dear friends, at 8 a.m. per usual. Have a great and a glorious day. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Please don't ever change. I mean, this is really, and by the way, speaking of shows, and this is very important, I cannot say this again. I want you to know that I'll be returning to the Cutting Room on February 3rd. Go to the Cutting Room. Actually, all of the things we talk about are here in the description section. Please, please go and say hello. We'll have a grand old time. We'll have a gay old time, as Fred Flintstone was saying, but I think that could be taken the wrong way, which is not that there's anything, of course, wrong with it. Don't forget to follow Lynn's Warriors and on Twitter, X, and YouTube as well. All right, dear friends, have a great day. We will see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel you were without Pierre. 8 a.m. tomorrow Eastern time. Don't ever change. I mean that sincerely. And until then, remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Ta-ta.